God grant us the wisdom and the courage and the patience to seek always after the truth, come whence it may, cost what it will. Amen.
Amen.
What do you know about forgiveness? Peter's question to Jesus, how often should I forgive, provides us with a timely opportunity to explore forgiveness. Forgiveness of ourselves, of those we love, of those we hardly know or do not know. Forgiveness of God or of members of our faith community. We seek to live in a way that is faithful to Jesus, and in his teachings, Jesus tells us to forgive. It's now pretty widely known that unforgiveness or holding on to past hurts and resentments deeply affects our emotional and physical health. But what do you know about forgiveness? And what makes it difficult for you to forgive? Those who have been sinned against suffer deep pain, and this pain cannot and should not be minimized or ignored. One of our tasks is to acknowledge the pain and suffering, with or without acknowledging the cause of our brothers and sisters, especially those with whom we worship on Sunday morning. Forgiveness means to release, let go of the other. Forgiveness is not denying our hurt. When we minimize what has happened to us, gloss it over, tell ourselves it was not really that bad, we cannot really forgive. Forgiveness is only possible when we acknowledge the negative impact of another person's actions and attitudes in our lives. When someone who was abused as a child acknowledges what their parents did, he or she has a chance to forgive and move on and have a healthy life. To forgive is to make a conscious choice to release the other person who has wounded us from the sentence of judgment, of our judgment, however justified that judgment may be. It represents a choice that we make to leave behind our resentment and our desire for retribution, however fair such punishment seems. Forgiveness involves excusing the person from the punitive consequences they deserve for their behavior. The behavior remains condemned, but the offender is released from the effects as far as the forgiver is concerned. Forgiveness means the power of the original wound to uphold us, trap us, is broken. For me, forgiving others is easier if I remember God's great forgiveness of me. Time and time again, God has called me to my knees. Most merciful God, I confess that I have sinned against you in thought, word, and deed, by what I have done and by what I have left undone. It's that simple. If I have not forgiven myself and my brother or my sister, I have left undone what I ought to have done. And I know it. And I've got 101 excuses. But I have left undone what I ought to have done. Only you know who you need to forgive. Not because he or she deserves forgiveness. Not because he or she has asked for forgiveness. But in thankfulness, in gratitude for God's great, loving, no strings attached forgiveness of you. But because of grace, unearned, undeserved, that pardons you. Harold Kushner, the great rabbi, once told a story about a woman in his congregation who came to visit him. He said she was a single mother with 3 small children. And she said to me, since my husband walked out on us, every month is a struggle to pay our bills. I have to tell the children we have no money to go to the movies. And there he is, living it up with his new wife in another state. How can you tell me to forgive him? Kushner says, he answered, I'm not telling you to forgive him because what he did is acceptable. It's not. It wasn't fair. It was mean and selfish. I'm asking you to forgive him because he doesn't deserve the power to live in your head and turn you into a bitter, angry woman. I'd like to see him out of your life emotionally as completely as he is out of your life physically. But you keep holding on to him. You're not hurting him by holding on to your resentment. You're only hurting yourself. We Christians know how much we have been forgiven. I know how much I have been forgiven. In prayer, you will remember your own sins. You know what God is calling you to do. What do you know about forgiveness? Here's a better question. What do you know about the great things that God is calling you to do after you forgive? You know. Now, go and do it.